There we go. We are being recorded now.
Everyone at your best behavior.
Nice. Your absolute worst. Oh, it's lovely to see you guys. Hopefully, you can have fun with this. So, right. It's called alighting. The first and perhaps best of all was out near Cardenden. The graveyard shift was dragging, so I clicked refresh again. Suddenly a message pops in the window's harsh blue light. Urgent, the 5 teams marked it. Oh, what a fearsome sight. An 8.5-inch jobby, all coiled up like a viper, gently warmly steaming and humming like a piper. I quick called in the cleanup team and they dealt with all that waste. And thought did I quite somberly on the michty Scottish race. You see, I work for ScotRail, or its current franchisee, which won the obscure tender in 2013 for HM's devolved government, and so, therefore, the Queen. And it's my job for her, so help me God, to keep the stations clean. Throughout my jurisdiction, Dumfries to Aberdeen, and all the tiny stations still clung to life between. It's a job that's had its stresses, oh, what a time it's been, but it's had its share of stories. So if you're partial keen, wheesh now and I'll tell you of all the shits I've seen. The longest was a chestnut brown in the ticket hall in Perth. To see the bastard stretch of it, it'd wrap around the earth. There was a quotidian 5-incher near the signal lights at Larbs, a standard Friday pick-me-up, intolerably hard, but strewn around were jokers and the ripped and sundered shards of filthy defiled royalty with their loyal numbered guards, because the Ayrshire magician had wiped up with playing cards. A black and reeky 7-inch appeared at 5 to 6 on a crowded business carriage outside of North Berwick. You'd think with such a group of train alighters, merchant bankers and other wankers, surely one would have seen his face, but the sleekit little bandit shiter had left with just one trace. Now some could see parallels, but that's not my place. I suppose the strangest sighting was a cross of 2 straight poos, but even curiouser still, they were both of different hues. One was standard yellow twill, and the other midnight blue. Now, I am not a man to judge. I'm a bit of a slob, it said, and after a curry and a night on the heavy, who hasn't shat the bed? But on our sovereign sceptred isle, and her celebrated railway lines, by all these sundry scattered shites, is her glory not undermined? So when the civilizing Britishman, so cried a Scot in foreign climes, with a lip far stiffer than his spine, drops his keeks and takes a poo wherever he fucking feels inclined.
That's brilliant, Michael. Love it.
We got peaked. We can all go home now.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible, Michael.
Aren't we already at home?
Yeah.
The fact that that all had like a perfect rhythm to it
Yeah,
for what it was.
that was spectacular, my dude.
That I'm so impressed.
So were Frankie's expressions.
Yeah, for me it was just such a joy to see all of her.
Oh yeah, me too. I didn't say. Glad you enjoyed it. So hopefully that sets the tone for our Sick Barnes night. The rudeness. Me and Bracken have another fun one later on. But I'm going to move it on to Frankie, if that's okay.
Yeah, okay, so I feel a bit like I'm going to be hopelessly outclassed by that, because this one is, a little shocking, but I think not as funny. This is by John Wilmot, Earl of Rochester, who was a very naughty man who died of syphilis. It's called The Imperfect Enjoyment, and it's about premature ejaculation.
Yay.
Naked she lay, clasped in my longing arms, I filled with love and she all over charms, both equally inspired with eager fire, melting through kindness, flaming in desire. With arms, legs, lips close clean to embrace, she clips me to her breast and sucks me to her face. Her nimble tongue, love's lesser lightning, played within my mouth, and to my thoughts conveyed swift orders that I should prepare to throw the all-dissolving thunderbolt below. My fluttering soul, sprung with a pointed kiss, hangs hovering o'er her balmy brinks of bliss. But while her busy hand would guide that part which should convey my soul up to her heart, in liquid raptures I dissolve or melt into sperm and spend at every pore. A touch from any part of her had done it. Her hand, her foot, her very looks a cunt. Smiling, she chides in a kind murmuring noise, and from her body wipes the clammy joys. When, with 1,000 kisses wandering o'er my panting bosom, "Is there then no more?" she cried. "All to love and rapture's due. Must we not pay a debt to pleasure too?" But I, the most forlorn, lost man alive, to show my wished obedience vainly strive. I sigh, alas, and kiss, but cannot swive. Eager desires confound my first intent. Succeeding shame does more success prevent, and rage at last confirms me impotent. Even her fair hand, which might bid heat return to frozen age and make cold hermits burn, applied to my dear cinder, warms no more than fire to ashes could past flames restore. Trembling, confused, despairing, limber, dry, a wishing, weak, unmoving lump I lie. This dart of love, whose piercing point, oft tried, with virgin blood 10,000 maids has died, which nature still directed with such art that it through every cunt reached every heart. Stiffly resolved, 'twould carelessly invade woman or man, nor aught its fury stayed. Where'er it pierced, a cunt it found or made. Now languid lies in this unhappy hour, shrunk up and sapless, like a withered flower. Thou treacherous, base deserter of my flame, false to my passion, fatal to my fame, through what mistaken magic dost thou prove so true to lewdness, so untrue to love? What oyster, cinder, beggar, common whore did thou ever fail in all thy life before? When vice, disease, and scandal lead the way, with what officious haste dost thou obey? Like a rude, roaring Hector in the streets, who scuffles, cuffs, and jostles all he meets. But if his king or country claim his aid, the rake-hell villain shrinks and hides his head. So thy brutal valour is displayed, breaks every stew, does every small whore invade. But when great love the onset does command, base recreant to thy prince, thou darest not stand. Worst part of me, and henceforth hated most, through all the town a common fucking post, on whom each whore relieves her tingling cunt, as hogs on gates do rub themselves and grunt. Mayst thou to ravenous chancres be a prey, or in consuming weepings waste away? May strangery and stone thy days attend. Mayst thou never piss, who didst refuse to spend when all my joys did on false thee depend. And may 10,000 abler pricks than thee to do the wronged Corinna right for thee.
Hey!
How rude.
I loved your strumpet voice.
That's just my real voice.
So does anyone want any have any more kind of on around the idea of penises or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I've got a penis one.
Anything special?
I have a penis one.
Yeah. So we'll keep in this kind of vein for now.
Hey, nice.
Mike.
Mike Cox.
So we go with Mike and then M and then Andrada and then Bracken. Go.
Cool. This one's by John Brown. It doesn't have a name. A little boy walks into his parents' room, then wears a quizzical frown. When he sees his mom on top of his dad, bouncing up and down, the mother quickly dismounts, worried about what her son saw. She dresses quickly, then goes to find him standing outside the door. He asks, "What were you doing to Dad just then?" She replies, "Well, you know Dad is fat. He has a big tummy, so sometimes I get on top to try and make it flat." "Well, you're wasting your time, Mum," she is told by her bright young pup. "Because when you go out, the lady next door gets on her knees and blows it back up."
Fuck.
What an ending.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Shocking.
Very nice. Yeah. Just a reminder, if anyone wants their own little limerick, I can post one to them in the chat if you ask me for one.
Oh, I would do one.
Okay. Can we? M, would you like to?
Yeah, for sure. And for folks who haven't seen me since, I have started trying out a new name actually. I'm trying out the name Lyric. So if you want to help me try that out, that would be sweet.
Cool.
Yes, this one is called Why So Many Penises? Or should I say Peni by Megan Valley. Dicks drawn in cement on the still wet tar. Dicks drawn in the snow on the hood of my car. Dicks drawn on lockers. Dicks decking the hall. Dicks watching me pee in the bar bathroom stall. The boys made a habit of drawing dicks. Big dicks, little dicks, flirting dicks, squirting dicks. Limp ones, erect ones, shy ones, direct ones. Bald dicks, hairy dicks, friendly dicks, scary dicks. Fat dicks, lean dicks, nice dicks, mean dicks. Dicks in their notebooks, dicks on the desks. Dicks in Emily Dickinson, obscuring the text. Dicks in The Great Gatsby and A Tale of Two Cities. So many dicks and so few titties. Never understood the desire to draw dicks in the void. Is it marking of territory? Someone call Freud. But I never drew a vagina in my loose leaf. I know what you're thinking, Georgia O'Keeffe. Kind of ridiculous. I don't mean to sound callous, but I can't ride a train without seeing a phallus. The schools tell girls their skirts must reach their knees, no V-necks, no spaghetti straps, and 100 degrees, because too much skin might inhibit education, but no one thinks twice about dick decoration. Dicks with tongues, dicks with eyes, a dick with wings who soars the skies, a dick in the shape of a unicorn. The body is a dick, and so is the horn. Dicks where the semen is a telephone cord, dicks in a boxing ring, dick fighting swords, a long-necked dick with the head of a giraffe. The dick, in a way, has become an autograph. The author's been signing his name all along. Here's my John Hancock. I'm a big fucking dong. I guess maybe the point is to prove masculinity, to say, I can throw a baseball. I lost my virginity. Look at my dick. It's so big I don't cry. That's not a tear. That's super cum near my eye. I'm a man. I'm a man. Look at the evidence. I drew a dick on the podium. My dick could be president. But I'll take the hot dog dick, the testicle buns, because in the end, it's art and it's better than guns.
Yay!
That was great, Lyric. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Turned out a dick can be president as well.
Who knew?
Too soon. Too soon.
Yeah, Andrada?
Oh, it was published while a dick was president. Fun fact. Just had to check anyway. Sorry.
This is by CJ Thorpe Tracy from a little book that Bracken got me from the Secret Santa.
I think you're doing the one that I was going to do, so I'm just...
Oh no. Were you going to read a dick pic triptych?
Yes, I was.
High
You can do
five.
it. It'll be great.
Penis in names they're blessed with, though biologists none that Thicko Francis Bacon triptych, Hancock, Johnson, come. Slithering this way, that, and thus, till it's all fuss, no fun, they slaked a floating fatberg out of 3-word chewing gum. Cocaine, eye test, bend the knee for him that owns the sun. Spaff, flee, injunct. You guessed it. Fuck, pluck, and run.
The Tories.
Awesome. So, Malcolm, would you like to read your
The limerick? Yeah.
limerick? And then I thought maybe, Bracken, we could do our
Afterwards?
after Malcolm's one. Yeah.
Unless you want like a limerick theme, I've got a limerick as well.
Okay, so we'll do Malcolm, Mike's limerick, and then we'll go.
Nice. So I was given a choice of two, and I went for, I think, the ruder one. Said the nun as the bishop withdrew, "This must be our final adieu, for the vicar is thicker and slicker and quicker and 6 inches longer than you." Giggles.
Fantastic. I guess this one, I don't know who wrote this one. There once was a man from Bel Air who was doing his wife on the stair, but the banister broke, so he doubled his stroke and finished her off in midair.
Oh no!
It sounds like there's a death there maybe as well. So 2 deaths.
Yeah.
So, this is for our special event for right now. Is as if you came to Martin's thing over Christmas, I had an obsession with early Scots poetry, which is basically Northumbrian English, with some and so there was a guy called William Dunbar, and he was the court poet, and he had this fight with Walter Kennedy. They were, and it was just a kind of rap battle thing, and called the Flighting. And what I've done basically is taken it and then made an adaptation. So it's me, it's Kearney and Holroyd. I've taken the Kearney Kennedy because I'm half Irish, and there's a few insults about being Irish, but which back then would have meant Gaelic speaking. And it's long, and it's I've shortened it. It's still quite long, but full of lots of just insight into what medieval Scottish people insulted each other about. It starts off with Holroyd's part, which will be like a call. It's like it's imagining that I've written something. Me and Maria have written something about them, and so like that's the kind of idea. And Rory is Bracken's commissar, and Maria's my commissar as well. And so it's like getting ready to properly have at each other. Hey,
I'm so
really?
You have your fucking hype people.
Yeah, exactly. Hype man.
Yeah, it's perfect.
oh my god.
I say so yeah, if you need to read along, because I put a link up on the Facebook, but otherwise I hope that it should, if it's around about Shakespearean level of incomprehensibility, so you should get right. Oh yeah, one other thing is gar means to make something, do something. I didn't have the heart to translate that. It's like, so your face gars me bulk would mean your face makes me throw up. That's a gar. The rest of the good luck.
Shall I start?
Aye.
All right, I'm going to rip your jaw. Sir Rory, there was a thing compiled by Dokova and Kearney that we have to address. They have themselves above the stars styled, but did they do us menace? Not especially. If strife did rise, it did but scarcely. And though they might boast until their chests are distended, like Lucifer that fra the heaven descended, hell will not hide their heeds fra being harmed. The earth should tremble, the firmament should shake, and all the air in venom sudden stink, and all the devils of hell in terror quake, to hear what I should write with pen and ink. For as I flight, some folk in shame should sink. The sea should burn, the moon should thole eclipse. Rocks should reeve, the world should hold no grips. So loud in alarm the common bell should clink. Nae wonder then, loath am I to be a bard. Flighting's use greatly I shame, for it is neither winning nor reward, but mere tinsel, baith of honour and of fame, and an increase of sorrow, slander and evil name. Yet micht they be so bold in their backbiting, to gar me rhyme and raise the fiend with flighting, and through all countries in King Rick's then declaim.
Dirty Holroyd, on whom blowest thou thy boasts? Pretend thee to wrick such scabby scrolls. Raw-mouthed pervert, thou fall down at this roast. With my laureate letters I at thee loose. Mandrake, mummerkin, nae more master than clown, thrice caught swindler with one threadbare goon. Say mercy or I'll cry you down. So leave thy rhyming, pervert, and thy scrolls. Dread, dirt-fast dwarf, now thou hast disobeyed my cousin Dokova and my commissar. Fantastic fool, ignorant, trust well thou shalt be flayed. Ignorant elf, ape, owl irregular, scabby shite-bird and common scrounger, wan fucket foundling that nature made say little. Baith Rory and thou will squeal and skirl if ever I hear aught of you making more. Here I put silence to thee in all parts. Obey, and cease the part that thou pretends, ye weak wally and servant to cards. See that thou makes my commissar amends, and let her lay 6 lashes on thy rear end, meekly in recompense of all thy scorn, or thou shalt rue the time that thou was born. For Kearney to thee this schedule sends.
Irish briber bard, vile beggar with thy brats, cunt-bitten, craven Kearney, coward of kind, evil farts and dried out like a Dane on the racks. As if the hawks had on thy yellow snout dined, mismade monster, ilk moon out of thy mind, renounce, reprobate, thy rhyming. And the raving voice, thy traitor tongue has taken a Highland strand, a lowland arth would make a better noise. Raving, ragged rook, and full of ribaldry, spawn frae scorpion, scabbed in Scurrility. I see high and mighty in thy harlotry, and ony other science is not known to thee. Of every virtue void as men may see, quit claiming you're clever and take up a club. A bard blasphemer in brigandry thee will ever be, for wit and wisdom one wisp frae thee may rub. Forgotten fool, that all the world refuses, what wonder is it that thou rejoice to flight? Sick eloquence as they in Ireland uses, and sick is set thy froward appetite. Though it's full little filled with intellect, take it from me, a pair of lowland hips shall fairer English mack and more perfect than thou can blabber with thy Irish lips. Better thou to lead a dog out to pass piss, ye pining pick-purse pillager, than presume to be my superior, though thou all summer lay full prideless in the parsnips and peas, and glad to bin rake a tattered shirt single, then rub it with old wifey's fireplace ingle. But now in winter by poverty thou art bucket, thou has nae breeks so thy bullocks jingle. Beg thee some rags for bard, or thou shall go naked. Cowering craven, nae man counts thee for one cress. Shiftless, swatted swank swinekeeper for sweeties, thy commissar Dokova bids thee come kiss her ears. She loves not such a forlorn loon and lout. She says, thou scrounges and begs mair beer and oats than any scaff in Edinburgh about. Other poor beggars see thee and gloat. Decrepit crones at Kearney cry out, thou Lazarus, thou loathsome, lean carcase, to all the world thou may example be to look upon thy grisly, piteous face. For hideous and hollow is thine ee, thy cheek bone bare, thy teeth black as a fly, thy chops, thy jowl gars men for to live chaste. Thy grin gars us think that we maun die. I conjure thee, thou hungered Highland ghaist. When thou comes to Edinburgh, the boys like bees outswarm, and cry out, hey, here comes our own queer clerk. Then flees thou like an owlet chased by craws, while all the bitches at thy booties bark. Then the cronies cry, keep your kerchiefs and your merk, our gallows gape. Lo, where one so graceless goes. Another says, I see him want a sark. I tell you, mother, tack in your linen clothes. Then runs thou down Cowgate with the guild of boys, and all the toon tykes hinging at thy heels. Of ladies and laddies there rises such a noise, while ponies run away with carts and wheels, and pack mules cast off coals and creels, at the sight of thee and thy rattling of thy boots. Fishwives cry, fie, and cast down skillets and scales. Some clang on thee, some catch at the ankle. Loon-like Mahoon be bound to me obey. Fever in grief, mischief shall thee betide. Cry grace, tyke face, or I'll thee chase and flay. Owl, roar and yowl, I shall defoul thy pride. Plucked pigeon, baith fed and bred at a bitch's side. So like a tick purse pick, what folk would sit by thee, out-flitting, cunt-bitten, beshitten, tanned hide, climb the ladder, tie the tether, hang and empty thy bladder, I tell thee. Mock mutton, bit button, peelet glutton, heir to hill house, rank beggar, oyster dregger, foul flegger in the flet, churling, rough reeling, lick shillings in the mill house, bardry hater, thief of nature, false traitor, fiendish get, fat-filled shit-heeled yield, thou art overset. Mutton driver, gurnal reaver, yard swiver, foul fall thee, heretic, lunatic, purse pick, crone's pet, rotten crock, dirty deal, cry yield, or I shall quell thee.
Oh,
Oh.
I just have to give it a running point. But, hey, gonna get. Yeah. So now we have to call you Bracken, a common, coarse, cantankerous weed, all grasping airns like some hillside kraken. Aye, that name it fits indeed. You ken I saw some bracken by a pond. I tried to pull them. They cut my hand. They're like ferns that are fae Satan spawned. I pity the folk who touch your fronds. Dastard deal, son and dragon, piteous, malignant birth and bred with Belial, wild werewolf, worm and scorpion venomous, Lucifer's lad, foul fiendish face infernal, sodomite, separate ever from saints celestial. Put I not silence to thee, knave? And thou anew begins to rhyme and rave. Thou shalt be made bleat, ye bleary-eyed bestial. Pass to my commissar, I use my commissar a lot. Cower before her on your knees and do her will. And then to Sturgeon, for thy life protest, renounce thy rhymes, both ban and burn thy quill. Heave to the heaven thy hands and hold thee still. Do not thus, bogan, thou shalt be burnt with pitch, fire, tar, gunpowder, and lint on Arthur's seat or on a higher hill. You see, I perambulate Parnasso, the Muses' mountain, inspired by Mercury for his golden sphere, and sweetly drank eloquence from his fountain when it was pure with frost and floweth clear. Yet thou come, fool, too late in the year, there to a pool and drank the frog spawn, that gars thee rhyme thy piss-poor taunts and blabber that noise men's ears hear. Thou loves nae Irish, elf, I understand, but it should be the tongue that all true Scots heed, for it was the good language of this land, and Scotia caused it to multiply and breed, while Corpse Patrick, that traitor indeed, thy forefather, made Irish and Irishmen thin, through his treason brought English arses in. So would thyself, if your traitorous plans succeed. In England, owl, should be thy habitation. Homage to Edward Longshanks made thy kin. In Glasgow they welcomed him. They are in the wrong nation. They should be exiled Scotland, a lot of them. A stark gallows, a noose and a pin. The head point of thine elders' coats of arms should be, and written above in poesy, hang Holroyd with glee. Quarter and draw, make that surname thin. You know, I heard, in the good ship Catherine, thou made a foul cahoot. Thou bestrayed her down from stern to steer. On upon her sides was seen thy shit could shoot. The dirt still cleaves to her ropes these 20 years. The firmament nor firth was never clear. When thou, Hellride, devil's birth was on the sea, the souls would have all sunken through the sin of thee, had the people not made so great a prayer. When the ship was signed off and under sail, in the hold, thou foul brow proposed to pass, but thou shat, and were so insecure of thy tail, you beshat the steering wheel, the compass, and the glass. The skipper made thee land at the Bass Rock. Thou spew it and cast out mony a loathsome lump, faster than all the marines could pump, and now thy belly is worse than it ever was. Had those sailors been so proved by shot of gun and by men of war, that peril they'd have gladly passed. But thou was so loose and ready of your bum, they fought on sorely, but just gave up at the last. For thou would chuck a cartful at a cast. There is nae ship that will thee now receive. Thou defiled faster than 15 some might clean, and mired them with muck to the midmast. High sovereign Sturgeon, never let this sinful sot do shame for hame until the nation, that never none should once so be called a Scot, a rotten crock, loose of the derriere they are down. Frae honest folk Devoid this loathly loon in some desert where there is no repair, for defiling and infecting of the air. Carry away this corrupt, cankered carrion. Cankered Cain, tried traitor, Simon Cowell, mermaid, mummerkin, monster of all folk, I shall gar fry thee to the laird of Hill House to swallow thee instead of an egg yolk. Ferret, pheasant, fostered in filth and fen, foul fiend, fiend fool, upon thy physiognomy fie. The derriere of dirt drips and will never dry. To wash thy waist it has wearied Wivey's tent. Nero thy nephew, Goliath thy grandsire, Cameron thy father, Teresa thy dame, Hellride, these are the conservatives with whom you conspire. Tories temptize thee, slink back to Eton in shame. Boris Johnson, thy fool brother, will claim to be thine heir, and Cummings thy executor. Donald Trump, thy head of kin and protector, to hell will lead thee in the broad light of day. Hellride, thy spear of war outmatched, thou yield, hanged, mangled, adder strangled of a clan idiotic, to me maist high Kearney, and flee the field. Pricket, wicket, convict, lamp of the heretics, defamed, blamed, shamed, genitalia hypothermic, out, out, I shout, upon that snout that snivels, tale teller, rebeller, indweller with the devils, virus, mink, sink with stink to the lands past Berwick.
So topical.
I had no idea that so many people knew why I'm not allowed back on the tall ship.
Wow. That was unbe-fucking-lievable.
Brutal and relentless.
Veritable flood.
People
so much bracket. Man, it was awesome.
I'm so glad I got to use the word cunt bitten so often.
I'm so glad I got to see your facial expressions that entire goddamn time. Like, you took the facial expression dial and then you turned it up so far that you broke it.
Oh my god. It was amazing. Michael, can we just say thank you to Michael for doing the translation from Middle Scots? Because that's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Michael, for organizing this night too. Rude, great fucking theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a G.
Man.
So
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's fun to read and fun to have your reactions as well. And 4 or 5 stanzas about somebody shitting so much they're never allowed in a ship again.
I can just imagine the modern equivalent would be like on a Stena ferry or something like that.
I shat myself on a Calmac.
I'm no allowed back on the Calmac.
I'll never see Dunoon again.
Can we bring the word beshitten back? Around again.
There are many of these words that I found creeping into my
Good. Bring them back. Be the change you want to see in the world.
I mean, as long as they don't slip into your work, it sounds fine.
Your face gars me, book child.
I have to confirm that over the Christmas break, I would just be in the other room and sometimes just hear Michael really roaring with laughter. Double check. And also the translation is so much more comprehensible, even though I've heard this poem now maybe 20 times. I understand it so much better than the original versions of it. So it's gone through many iterations.
I mean, yeah, the original's just
and your original translation as well.
It's very, you have to pore over it really. But it's quite cool and it's worth looking up if you're that way inclined.
Yeah, I was attempting to learn. I didn't know which version I was meant to learn, so I was attempting to learn the Middle Scots one, and it was a challenge. So I was really glad that I didn't have to do that. It would have been fine. It would have been fine.
You're not going to do that one next.
Oh, God.
You can do that one next.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's all up there and at your leisure. Phew. Does anyone have any limericks or anything? Sort of a nice sort of palate cleanser.
I don't have limericks, but I have butt-related poems.
Excellent.
So you are a touch quiet.
Oh, sure.
Do you want the little L stand up?
All right, cool. Would you like the political poem or the surrealist poem?
Yeah,
Both.
Okay.
Both.
All right. Well, we'll start with the serious politics. It's called NSA by Andrew Fairweather. I put 100,000 pictures of my ass on the internet, so the NSA could spy on it and try to keep an eye on it, maybe call the FBI on it. Sir, we have a report that a man was typing in Arabic, and we pulled it up, and he said he was from Syria, and he said there was going to be a jihad in America with some high-value targets, some very high-value targets. But when we checked it out, it was just 100 million pictures of a butthole. The Admiral nodded and said, "This means something. This is important. We need to save this. We need to save these buttholes. Get some extra hard drives and get a USB stick. We've got some work to do. We've got to save these buttholes." Deep in Fort Meade, in a rectangular building covered in glass, a military man asks you a question. How many countries are we at war with right now? You start to count on your fingers. You start to name the countries. But he laughs and says, "You're going to need more hands." A young man just given top secret clearance is seated at a computer labeled top secret clearance, and he types his password in. And the screen behind begins to fill with asses and assholes. More and more asses, more and more assholes. So he calls the supervisor, and the supervisor says, "That's what we do here. Those might be terrorist assholes." That's it.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Do you want the second? Do you want to save it for later? Up to you, Michael.
Does anyone have any more arseholes? They could go in on that theme, or we'll just go straight on to your second one. So.
Well, this is another butt one, so you're in luck.
Oh, okay.
It's by the same poet. It's called Der Aschersetzer. He came into the shop and said, "I want to know what the problem is." I said, "Oh, you don't want to know what the problem is." And he said, "I want to know what the problem is so I can get the problem fixed." I said, "You don't want to know what the problem is. You don't want to know what the solution to the problem is because you don't want to know what your problem is." He says, "How do you know that I'm not going to like it?" I said, "I know you're not going to like it." So he said, "Just tell me what it is and I'll tell you if I like it." And I said, "Maybe I'll tell you." He said, "Why won't you tell me?" I said, "The problem's your ass." He said, "What?" I said, "The problem's your ass." He said, "What?" I said, "The problem's your fucking ass. Your ass is all fucked up and you got problems with your ass." He said, "Why are you saying this to me?" And I said, "It's your fucking problem. You're the one with the fucked up ass." He started to storm out. So I said, "Wait." He said, "What?" I said, "Wait." He said, "What? Is this about my ass?" And I said, "No, kind of. Your ass is mad fucked up and you don't want to face the problem." He said, "What's your problem?" I said, "My problem is that you come in here with a fucked up ass and you don't want someone to tell you that your ass is fucked up. I don't even know how you go to the bathroom. I don't even know how you sit on things. When you stand up, where does your ass go? Where was your ass in the first place? Where was your ass in 1969? Where was your ass on 9/11? I thought you said you'd never forget. He said, I'm leaving. And I said, not before you get your official diagnosis. Here it is. You're fucked up and your ass is fucked up. Are you ready for the solution? He said, what? And I said, here's the solution. Are you ready? I'm going to replace your ass. I'm going to take it off and replace it. I'm the ass replacer. Ass replacer. If you're German, der Arschsetzer. Das ist mein. He said, I don't need this. I said, I need this. This is my job. I'm the ass replacer. And see, that's it.
What the fuck just happened?
That was amazing.
What is it, arms?
Lyric, what's going on there?
Wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Rory, you are amazing at finding this intersection of like bizarre and entertaining yet confusing. It's a real talent.
Oh God, I think I'm dying.
The glasses were just perfect.
Yeah.
I loved when the glasses went on.
Just take it. Let's all take a moment. It's nice.
There we go.
But like, think if our own asses need replacing, or
Yeah.
so. I think we still got Mike's poem left, and I think that's our bill. If anyone else has anything they'd like to share as well.
Well, there's kind of almost a playground friendly one, if you want to take it right down to kind of nice first.
Mhm.
Okay. There's another one by John Bratton. I love you oh so very much, totally, completely, from the very top of my head to the bottom of my feetly. And another part which really loves you, if you know what I mean. It's a place, not head nor feet, but directly in between.
Cute.
Cute.
All right. Oh, that's a sweet one.
Anyone else, or should I do my other one? Okay, cool. So I've called this Cadence, just for sake of having a name. Okay, here we go. Folks say that I'm rude, and who knows, I may be my problem's timing, things that I say. It started in school with this verbal tick. Asked the teacher if I could look at his dick. Shineri, so I could check all the spellings. Before I knew it, I got a good telling off, so I explained what I meant. Thought no more of it until I was sent to go and visit the head teacher's office about my story, King of the Sofas. I thought what a good job I must have done. Thought teacher was happy, but boy was I wrong. The head then asked me to recount the plot. I did, and when we got to the part with what happens when the king gets cross with the family, I put in my book, he got Sofa King angry. That seemed to put the head in a rage. He picked up my book and tore out the page, threw it aside, then told me to leave. Tears started to stream, wiped them on my sleeve. Across muddy fields, ran back home to my mum and started telling her all that I'd done. She stopped me and asked if I'd run through a trough, pointed at my shoes and said, wash that sod off. So maybe that's where my problem stems. Language is learnt from family and friends. So please take care with what you write and say. It might just come back to bite you one day.
That's so good.
Oh,
Thanks.
I love that.
That's so good.
There's a place on the way from here into the middle of Glasgow that's called Sofa King. And then it has the word cheap at the side of it.
Yeah.
Sofa King cheap.
Fantastic.
There was another Sofa King somewhere that had the slogan, it's so fucking good, or something like that.
Oh, fab.
Also, I completely forgot to versify that sort of crude story that I mentioned in the comments a while ago.
I don't know if I remember that.
It's up to you if you want to share it, or yeah. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share as well? No. No more rudeness or yeah.
Not officially, but maybe after a book that I haven't looked at in quite a while, and it's called The Essential Little Book of Foreign Swear Words. So yeah, there's lots of good old swear words and phrases in different languages, which I might do for after chat.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, so I'll finish on one of our maybe a little limerick just to before I click. Start off on the same note that we got. To begin with, there once was a man named O'Doul who saw little red spots on his tool. His doctor, the cynic, said, "Get out of my clinic and wipe off the lipstick you throw." And should we say goodbye to the catch-up crew?
Yeah.
Bye,
Catch-up crew.
Bye, catch-up crew.
Bye.
Goodbye. And